All right, hello. This is Alexander Wales. What are we doing today? I'm still working on this exclusion document, as I have been for the last almost 2 weeks now. Um, Today is probably going to be a shorter stream. It's very hot out, and if I'm streaming, I don't want a fan on, or just because it's super noisy. Um, and even then, I'm probably not going to be in my office for too long. Um, Also, I already wrote like 3,000, 4,000 words for dungeons today because I was a little bit behind schedule and stuff. Um, so, just one exclusion. This is a late Second Empire exclusion. This is going to be the RVEZ. It is just going to be the Ravenous exclusion zone. This is groove casting, which is Raven's second magic behind Dibbling, which already has its exclusion zone. We are going to include notes for Raven. Raven will have some kind of note on this. I don't know what it's going to be yet. So the only thing I believe we know about this from the work itself is this paragraph right here. And we need a date. Let's say 296. It's weird to call that late Second Empire because there's like an extra like 30 or I guess 20 years or so, but whatever. Did Raven cause this one? No. Okay, so what's cool about groove casting? The idea with groove casting is that you do this horrendously expensive spell. Groove casting is kind of like a level up system on its own, where you do the cast and it gets easier every time, and you sort of wear this groove into you wear like dents or patterns in that help you with more spells as you go. The exclusion zone, I think, is going to be I think so I guess I'm going to start with the image in my head, which is very often my jumping off point for exclusion zones. It's a bunch of corpses sitting around casting spells like grooves that have been worn. Here, I will type some of this out. Um, Dead casters sitting around a table. So this is their that I think is the basis for this one. Like everything else is going to be built from that or toward that. Oh, I do. The other thing I like about groove casting is this idea of like having a secondary source to divert energy into it. Yeah, I did say that. Oh, word count. Word count is 15,200. I think instead of saving nature for last, it should just be a very short section that I can come back to and rewrite as necessary. I think doing nature first lets me try to set the tone or ideas, and then I can fix it later if it doesn't work out. Okay, effects vary. Okay, history. Let me go check my... Okay, check my formatting. Here is like what are the nature of the effects? This is like super important for the exclusion zone, super important for the magic, and needs to not repeat anything that is within worth a candle. So what I had been thinking for groove casting was kind of this like... Okay, what I had been thinking about was like spraying water, or like that thing you see when you drop when you have like still water or moving water or whatever, and you drop like a drop of food coloring into it. I think that's the basis for it, but like what... Like, so you imagine that effect coming out of the caster, and then that dye or whatever it is affecting the things around them. So I'm gonna work on this for a bit. This is the kind of thing that ideally you firm up ahead of time, but I don't know. I had a late night last night, and I just did not spend time thinking about this. I was spending time thinking about other stuff, but and Worth the Candle is super crowded, so it's not I want this to be like a... Okay, so sorry, let me finish my thoughts. Worth the Candle is very crowded with effects, and it gets difficult at a certain point to make sure that each one is distinctive. And so that makes it much harder to do unique things. Okay, so it's like property modification. I think that this is more like releasing a dye into the air, and then that dye would mold things, like with fungus and stuff, or decay them, or like change things in some way, but as sort of like a... I don't know. Change things in a way like it's washing over them, rather than in a way like it's casting a beam, and that beam is just affecting the whole object. The problem is trying to put that into words. I mean, the problem is that it's broad, but also the problem is trying to put it into words. Only the bits it touches, yes, and are affected to the extent that there's a concentration of groove magic. If you release it inside a sealed tube, it could be concentrated more. These are short duration. I mean, but like, yeah, you could in theory set things up to like have like little implements or something. Not, I mean, so colored smoke looks different from what I have in my head, but it's much more liquid than particulate, or it's liquid particulate instead of gaseous particulate. Okay, I'm going to come back to this. It floats. No, it mist moves differently than liquid. Like airborne particulates move differently from liquid, so it has it has the heft like actual liquid. It moves with the viscosity of actual liquid. But I'm going to come back to this. It's like an important section. Just tell Google that it's wrong. It is named after Raven. This one is not named after Raven, like within the logic of Worth the Candle, or but it is within the within the like meta logic of Worth the Candle. Narratively, it's named after Raven, but not canonically in the setting. Well, Worth the Candle operates on different levels there. So it is canonically within the setting, but it's at a higher level of meta than normal. So the specific effects could vary wildly, not like skin magic. No, the skin magic varies a lot. Skin magic is the D&D kitchen sink. This would be fundamental changes of some nature to things. It's like it's like it's limited in that sense. It's like decay or mold or fossilization or hardening or other stuff like dying or yeah. We will need examples. I just want to. Okay, I will do this now because it needs to be done, but include some examples. Fundamental changes to some nature to things. But those changes could be almost anything. No, like the list that I gave is that's to me a very small subset as compared to all the stuff D&D wizard magic can do. But I will do examples here, and we'll just move on with it. And you can tell me if that's bad. I'm not happy with this section, but this is part of why I'm only doing one exclusion today. Is I'm a little bit fried from writing dungeons, and I convinced myself to split that chapter in two, which I think was a good idea because otherwise I have like 2 days to finish a chapter, which I can do, but is usually not for the best. How long it takes for a groove to be built up, that will be in this section. Here, you can put to do. Grooves can be replicated? No. Well, what do you mean? What do you mean replicated? You can't just copy a groove someone else has made. The idea is that this is largely a magic that's for either long-lived species or well, I don't. We'll get into it, but or with high expenditure of energy to cast a groove, or to deepen a groove. Like one of the limiting factors is it takes you a long time to build up a groove, and then like you're stuck with that. Flower magic, kind of. How many grooves can someone have? That depends on how old they are, and like how much time and effort they've put into it. Yeah, infinite, but the limitation is not on strict number of grooves. Not dying. They, as conceptualized, do not need to be maintained. Like, once you have it, it's there. I'm just gonna This is the wrong one. Different. And yes, this means group casting has like acid breath equivalent. Okay. There are other synergies. I'm not going to delve into that too deeply. I don't think. I mean, that's part of. I think that might be part of the exclusion, but I'm still free writing right now. I'm not very much of this is very concrete at the moment. I am mostly trying to get to like to this stuff. To like. Alright, I might have to minimize chat. Just I'm finding it particularly distracting today. And I'm not sure I have that much energy for writing or for that many more questions. Yeah, so there's actually just a sound effects board. I just have it set up on a loop. I'm gonna close my window a little bit more because the blue jays are, if that's what that is. There are a ton of birds in the area. Train's already gone by today. I have like maybe an hour till my son comes back home, so I'm just gonna try and get this done. Yeah, we have blue jays, crows, chickadees, cardinals every now and then, seagulls, because I'm like 4 blocks from the lake, something like that. Some of these effects are chemical, some are also like mold is biological. But yeah, like chemical effects through this like floating water dye thing is, I think, the foundational basis for groove magic. And then anything beyond that, like, it's important to me for a magic system to have stuff that's beyond that. That to have stuff that, like, you set down the groundwork and then you kind of like you have like this circle and you're creating a bubble off the side of it. And those bubbles are cool, and you want as many of them as you can and still have the magic sustain itself and not have the little bubbled out parts be so deeply impactful that that becomes all that the magic system is in practical terms. Sorry, one sec. They yeah, not like Quill's idea. Quill has some super dumb ideas on magic. All right, I got a mocha when I got my lunch, and they're supposed to put a hole in it. Like there's supposed to be the hole that you can drink out of, and then a second hole for air to escape, because otherwise it creates like a suction thing. Okay, I'm done. I just had to like poke a hole in the lid of my cup. Okay, what am I even doing here? Capable of we're going to do a second example here. Yes. No. That is very that is what I was thinking when I was writing that, is that I'm not sure whether to include that, but like yes, this kind of thing that takes like constant practice. You can't just be perfect at it. Yeah. Is anathema to an elf. And I was going to include it, but like why do elves not like do this? I guess. But we're gonna say I was thinking of other. I'm not sure on that. We'll come back to it. I don't like the term mental energy here, partly because I feel like it's not a great like I think it is a real thing in the real world, but I don't feel like it's nicely concrete. Um, I, the idea is that this happens, like groove casting opens up, but is still not all that great. Um, that this is not like the thing that gets groove casting excluded. It is the thing that sort of lets it be a more useful magic to the world. Okay. And yeah, I do need to think about like what those things are. So dibbling is one. I think rune. I think not runes because like they're already like similar magics. So them being like what would make something incompatible is an interesting question. We should just like take a moment to look over my exclusions list. Um, okay, we'll do Ash Magic. We'll do... No, we'll do Crystal Magic too. Sorry, I'm just reading through these that just try to see. Three is probably fine. Yeah. Mental energy from bones is too high level for anyone to realistically use it. Unless you're like an absolute master of bone magic. Like, I'm pretty sure the unlock levels is like physical. Multi-mages are fairly unusual just because of the amount of like time and effort it takes. And like okay, so we're gonna go dibbling. Ash magic. Oh, we're gonna do clock magic. But I need to double check my timelines now. Just real quick. Ash does not have a date. Clocks are 195. That's post First Empire. Crystal magic is late second. And how the exact interactions of these are going to be left as an exercise to the reader. It's not important for this exclusion zone, which happens after almost all of those have already been excluded. It's like a historical footnote. So okay, so toward the actual exclusion. Sorry, I'm just word searching right now. Oops. Give me a like. No, give me something. Yeah, here, terminal. That's good. I want Raven to complain that this should not actually have been excluded. Um, Okay. How many did I say? I said like 113. I don't know if that seems high or low. It seems low. We're going to call this 300. 300. This is not the REC, it's the RVEC. We're just going to use a good old fancy name generator. I sometimes use these for, okay, not this. Teardor, sure. I sometimes use this for Work the Candle because it's supposed to have a bunch of like randomly generated fantasy names in it. Um, I don't know. It always pleases me when I do that because it's a very D&D thing to do. Um, I think that's all features needs to be. Um, how long it was around? Thousands of years. Well, tens of thousands would be all of the history. I mean, the magic's been around. It's just when it was discovered. I would say thousands of years. There's not really like what do you mean move? I will go. I will go move up to the earlier part and rewrite that opening paragraph on groove casting. I think of this like an octopus squirting ink. Um, It'll need to be rewritten. I am absolutely fried though. So I'm gonna finish this up and then next time will be Risen Lands. I don't want to commit to doing two next time because I might still be fried then. We'll see. I'm just gonna go like take a walk and clear my head and stuff. But I have gotten one done, which is was my goal for today. I do need to finish this and then rewrite that earlier section. But I think this is fine. I think this works by itself. Any mention from Raven? Um, no, because I don't want to include that stuff here. I want to there like the comments from like Raven and June and Amaryllis are not locked to any specific period, and I think that locks Raven's perspective to being like way into like book 5 or 6 or something like that. Prescriptive. All the easy names should be as defined by the Empire of Common Cause somewhere. Why did it get excluded? That will not be answered here. I mean, you can have your own opinions on that. Okay, I'm probably not including personal stuff here. Okay, I think that's fine for Raven's note. I think I will keep her as relatively academic on the topic. Let's go back here. Ravenous exclusion zone is 313. What is these two? I think this is fine for nature. I think that's like an interesting tag. 296 FE. Turn this red. We're going to use mental fabric because it's a metaphor. It's like one of those persistent metaphors that I think groove casting uses. But that's not like fully explained. Okay, I just I don't have the brain power for this anymore. 16021, so 800 words. That's fine. I will be happy with that, especially because I'm so fried that puts my like words written today at like 5,000 or something like that. Something ridiculous. Risen Lands will be next time. Might just be a short stream again, but we'll see how I'm feeling and how much I recharge until then. All right, thanks for being with me, and I will see you next time.